Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your boy Three Stacks in this thing, representing my squad. And today we're gonna be going over an update on pure invokes. I do normally hybrid variations of invokes, but today I just wanted to showcase pure, not Mech Knight, not Sky Striker, not this, not that, just invoke, plain old invoke. I think that the Link Monster really brought a new dimension to how the deck can be played, enabling it to actually apply more pressure, be a lot more aggressive, actually enable it to have some good turn one plays, depending on how your hand shapes up. And just overall, the ability to OTK, which it rarely was able to do. I mean, on a good day, you could catch somebody off guard with Purgatrio, but it's just like the deck didn't have that aggressive kind of overexerting output of force, but now it really does. Like it's not like a conglomeracy or anything like that, but it indeed is a lot more refined, and where it was lacking in certain areas where it was really weak, they have definitely just in a way just compensated with this Link Monster. It's really good, I'm not gonna lie. And just a spoiler alert, a lot of people have been talking about being able to recycle the link with invocation. You cannot do that. Um, you can't. Just letting y'all know. We've been hearing a lot of talk, especially at regionals where I just left. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, 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 you can put it back with invocation. No, bro. It's not Alistair in the Vanish Zone. So let's hop into the main deck, you guys. There's some spicy text in here. As always, all my decks normally are, very unique. I have ways to make Alistair without Sky Strikers. Remember, I told you, it's just pure invoke. Nothing extra. Just pure, straight up going second invoke. So starting off with our man of the hour. The spotlight is all on him. It's yours, bro. The floor is yours. Alistair the Invoker. This card is the deck. It's, this is Ray to your Sky Strikers. Ray to the Sky Strikers is what Alistair is to the Invoked Archetype. Everything synergizes around him. Everything. Like, you can't get anything done without him. Like, he's that important. He's that good. Alistair is just insane. The one card combo, he allows you to go first or second. Sometimes it's better to go second. Honestly, it is, because you're able to force your opponent to kind of play around your hand traps, and if they can't play through it, you've already broken it down to a simplified game state instantly. You drop a couple Mechabus, it goes from bad to worse in a heartbeat, like 0 to 100. And then I also play a playset of Cyber Dragons because I like to go second. And what I really like about the Cyber Dragons in the Invoked archetype itself is because this helps me to out the Extra Link. I could just special summon this guy. Depending on how the Extra Link was made, obviously, we all know that Ibly exists. Trust me, we're not dumb. We know that Ibly exists. But depending on how the Extra Link was made, because a lot of people like to use Cerberus to pop the Ibly and draw because they're greedy, you can just drop the Cyber Dragon. You can hit both their extra monster zones at once, make your Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon. Then you can normal summon your Alistair. You can just go off from there, basically. If you have an extender like Instant Fusion, that's really, really good because you can normal Alistair, link with him in the Mega Fleet, go into Underclock, play Instant Fusion, drop a Raijin, link with the Instant Fusion, the Raijin and the Underclock taker, go into your Alistair the Invoker, then you can play your Invocation, and you pretty much can just go off from there. It's really, really good, opening up with Cyber Dragon and Alistair. And if you're not playing against some extra link dot deck, then you could just pretty much special summon Cyber Dragon, normal Alistair, link those two into your Invoker of Madness, and you can generate some plays from there. You'll normally be able to OTK. Having Alistair's 18 body plus the fusions that you drop, plus the ability to discard Alistair during damage step, you normally have game. And you play just a plethora of hand traps in this deck. I wanted to have an answer and an out to everything. So these are actually the only monsters that I'm going to be summoning in this deck. That's it, just those 6. Now for the hand traps. I play a little bit more than usual. The reason is because I don't want to play. Here's the thing. You don't want to play a going second strategy and not have the outs or the answers all the time. Like, it's nothing worse than when you're playing a go second strategy and you never open a single hand trap. Ash and Droll is not enough. Ash, Droll, and Valor is sometimes enough. Like, what I was pushing for in this deck was well over 15 hand traps, and I did just that. I don't know how many it is, but it's more than 15. We'll count together. So we have 3 copies of Ash Blossom, the most universal hand trap in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Some decks can't be Ghost Ogres. Some decks Droll's not good against. Some decks Valor doesn't work. Some decks you can't Reaper, some decks you can't Bell, but every deck has a card that can be Ash Blossomed in it. We have 3 copies of Ghost Ogre. Ghost Ogre is still good. I don't know why people are saying it's bad against Gokis. No matter how they chain block, in the middle of their combo, I've learned their combos just by watching them. In the middle of their combo, when they turn Goblin into the Mermaid, they have to set the chain links to where Firewall is chain link 2 and Mermaid's chain link 1. Otherwise, they'll bring out the Ibli and Firewall can no longer special from hand. So because Firewall's chain link 2, you can Ghost Ogre that hoe. Firewall's dead. Ibli will get summoned from the Nightmare, the Mermaid, and that's it. That's it. Like, the only thing they could do at that point is chain Firewall's effect and bounce itself back. Or something like that. And then they just really have to have, like, the tits. They have to have an overextender. Like, they have to really overextend just to get back to the point where they had Firewall again. They got to make him and then try to, like, resolve his effect and abuse him enough. Like, Ghost Ogre is, like, past turn against Goki. It's, like, really, like, they give you the opportunity to play Ghost Ogre. You just really have to time it right. Even you can Ghost Ogre Summon Sorceress. A lot of decks are playing Summon Sorceress. Because she has to summon to her zone, you can Ogre it. It's really, really good. I even want to throw an E-Telly in here just so I can have the flexibility of using E-Telly to link with my Alistair and go into my Link Monster. Or if I just want to flip E-Telly kind of like a trap and use it to be more reactive. Ghost Ogre is really good, and it's only going to get better next format. And now for the other sister, I do play 2 Ghost Reaper Winter Cherries. Unfortunately, I was not able to procure a third. I only play 2 right now because I only have to. But you do draw it enough. I mean, you see it here and there. I would definitely be playing 3 of this as well. I wanted to play 3 of all the sisters that are relevant. Ghost Spell is format defining sometimes, but she's only for certain formats. And right now, like, she's good against rematch, but other than that, she's not that great against the other decks. But Cherries is amazing. It's mostly for Gokis. And any other deck that you find Cherries is a detriment to, then play the targets for it. So that's it for our sisters. We play 8 of the sisters. And then we also play 3 copies of Effect Veiler. Effect Veiler is really good in this deck because he doesn't care about chain links and he's not once per turn. He's the only hand trap in your deck besides Drone Lockbird that's not a hard once per turn clause. Like, you can do Veiler as much as you want. It's it's really, really good. This card's insane. And it gives you the light attribute you need in your grave for your Invoked fusions. Then we have Triple Droll. Drone Lockbird is actually good now in Invokes. Like, if we didn't have the link, I wouldn't be playing Droll because the deck couldn't OTK before. But now we can. Give me one moment, you guys. Just like one moment. Alright, my bad, you guys. I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, like I was saying, Droll is actually really, really good in this deck now. Because this deck just OTKs out of nowhere. Especially like if you open up with an invocation plus a meltdown, your Alistair is gonna get you a meltdown. Then what you want to do is you use your Alistair Link monster to search for Book of Law. So you drop both of your fusions, you attack, and then chain Book of Law from hand in battle phase, and that's game. So if you draw and Lockbird them, you're gonna kill them. I promise you. It's really, really good. In fact, I was even considering playing Photon Thrasher over Cyber Dragon just because if my opponent doesn't control a monster, I can still drop the Photon Thrasher, whereas Cyber Dragon's like, you have to have a monster for me to use it. Because like making the Link monster is really how you push for game. Like, I feel like the best way to abuse this is not just to kind of just prolong and extend the game, like trying to make it last longer, trying to grind. You just want to use this for your aggressive pushes. The same goes with, the Mech Knight Link monster. So yeah, those are your hand traps in the main deck. We have 3, 6, 8, 11, 14 hand traps. Universally good. Like, think of it this way. If you're playing against Gokis, if you draw any one of these, you're normally able to stop their turn. But you're playing 14 of these, so you're normally... That's why I played so many hand traps in this deck, because I had Gokis in mind. Like, Gokis are so popular. They're the best deck of the format. There's hands down, nobody can argue with the fact that Gokis are the best. They really are. And I don't want to go first. Gokis would just slaughter me, bro. And I want to go second. I want to hand trap their life away, right? If they have a call buy, they don't have enough called buys. They'd have to open triple called buy and in a way to finesse their chain links. Finesse it, bro. It's not going to happen. So like I really want to just make them go first. I want to hand trap them, force the game state to be extremely simplified. I mean, I'm gonna simplify the game state myself. Leave you with just any Soul Day, or I'll just leave you with the Mermaid if I Ghost over your Firewall. And then I'm just gonna OTK you because Gokis play no mirror forces, no defensive layers to stop you. They have just pure offense. They don't play any traps at all. And it makes sense why they don't. But that's why we're capitalizing on that. So we have the 14 hand traps. It's really, really good. And if it's not Gokis, if you're playing against Sky Strikers, everything is still incredible. Droll's incredible against Sky Strikers. Veiler's good against Sky Strikers. Ashe is insane. Ogre for the multi-roll is still really good. Heck, you can even Ogre Kagari. Like, if they went into Kagari through the Hornet drones and not through Sky Striker Ace Ray, for example, you could just Ogre the Kagari and you end their snowball effect. Because as long as they control that Kagari, they can just turn it into Shizuku and then Hayate. But if you Ogre the Kagari, if it's not Ray, we understand how Ray works. Everybody does. But if it was through a Hornet drones and you Ogre it, it will still get its effect, but they just completely, like just lose that kind of chain. It just depends on how they did it, because like obviously they can try to make another link, but the point is it really does help out a lot being able to ogre their link monster sometimes. And at the same time, it's a lot better to ogre the multi-roll like when they activate it and use its effect, so that way they don't get that in phase kind of like crazy Spellbook of Judgment-esque effect. But yeah, like it virtually what I'm saying is all these hand traps are still really good, even against Sky Strikers. Ogre's horrible against Trick Stars, but it's great against everything else. It's really good even against Cyber Dragons. People are really like underestimating the power of Cyber Dragons, and Ogre is powerful against them. And then for our spells, we have 3 copies of the Hot Sauce, Magical Meltdown. I don't care that it's hard once per turn. I'm absolutely maximizing on every single way to get to Alistair, because Alistair is your win condition of the deck. In fact, he is the deck. He's the engine. If you don't see him, there's not very much that you can do. But the funny thing is, I have made some hands work where I had Invocation in hand, but I didn't have Alistair, and I was able to make my Alistair the Invoker Link monster and activate my Invocation and fuse using him and set up a play still. So you can make plays even without the Alistair, the main deck Alistair the Invoker, as long as you're able to make the Link monster. But that only applies when you've hard drawn one of your 3 invocations, which is very likely. You are playing 3. And in tandem with our 6 Meltdowns, which complements the 9 Alistairs, we do play triple Pot. The reason why Pot is extremely vital in this deck is because you need to see Alistair, right? This is just technically another way to get to Alistair. It's the only card I care about drawing. And if I already have Alistair, I'm going to hold the Pot until I'm done pushing. Because like normally when you have Alistair and you have all the resources to make your Link monster, there's no reason to get greedy and try to grab extra cards for what? You want to see if you can push. If you can't go through the push, you're going to Pot of Desires in main phase 2 after you've already cycled through your deck for your invocations. So there's a lower chance of banishing them. And you want to dig for more hand traps so that way you can stun your opponent on the following turn and make a second attempt at OTKing them on, your next turn. And then we have triple Invocation. I was never fond of playing 3. In fact, in all of my Invoked variants personally, I always played 1 of it. I never felt the need for playing more. But in this particular build, especially because of the Link monster, it's really good to play 3. And it's not even about the Pot of Desires. It's about the fact that this monster is not once per turn. There's nothing once per turn on it. It doesn't say you can only anything. It's if and you can. If and you can. If and you can. If and you can. All day, every day, bro. Like, you can cycle all 3 of your invocations in one turn. If your opponent goes first and you open the right hand traps, even if you have to evenly match them and sacrifice your battle phase, go into Alistair, drop double Mechaba, set an impermanence down. You have 3 negations right there. That's still enough to make sure that you can stop them and attack them for game. But if you don't have to evenly them, just OTK them. You're going to go through all 3 of your invocations, and then you're going to get a Book of Law. It's just broken, bro. And we do play triple Instant Fusion. What I like about Instant Fusion is it is a versatile extender. Remember, the good thing with playing Sky Strikers in a deck like this is a card like Hornet Drones instantly is like a 1 card Alistair the Link Monster, right? But remember what I told you guys. This is pure Invoked. I wanted to show you guys that you can play pure Invoked without wasting your money on engages, because I know engages are a little pricey, and some of us are budget players. I'm not saying I am, but you know, if there's a way to do pure Invoked and make it consistent, you just gotta kind of take your deck out, and build it in a way where you make your link first and then go off with your plays. So that's what Instant Fusion is really good for, because you just summon out your Invoke fusions like Kaliga and your Raijin, and you use those to extend your plays. Be it using them to normal Alistair, drop Raijin, and then make your Link Monster, or if you already have your Link Monster, extending your play being the fact that Instant Fusion is treated as a fusion summon. So you can Instant Fusion, drop something in Alistair's column just to trigger his effect and grab yourself a Book of Law, or, you know, an invocation if need be. So kind of just extend your plays. It's always going to do that. Instant Fusion is really good in this deck. That's why I absolutely maximize on it. You want to open with like Alistair plus like an Instant Fusion or like a Cyber Dragon. Think of Cyber Dragon and Instant Fusion as your 3 engage and your 3 Hornet Drones. Your 6 ways to kind of just get an additional monster on field beside the Alistair so you can make the link. And summing up the spells, I do play 1 tech, the Book of Law. I kind of feel like these days, no matter what Invoke variant you're playing, because of Link Monster, you should play 1 Book of Law. It does brick when you play more, and you don't need more than 1, I promise you. You can make Griffin, heck, you could just make Griffin and set it back if you really feel that it's that important. But you should play 1 to maximize on the value of Alistair and the capability of OTKing with this card. Book of Law is just, it's redundant. You can even use it as a trap if you want to. You can set it. You can flip it, drop Invoke Cocytus against Sky Strikers. They really struggle with that card because it can be targeted or destroyed. Flip a Mechaba on your opponent's turn. You know, let's say you had a bad hand, you couldn't make Mechaba, but you can make an Invoke fusion. You just Book of Law and turn it into Mechaba. That's it for your spells. Then for our traps, we play triple, infinite, impermanence. Cards just ridiculous. It contributes to your higher ceiling going second, as well as the triple evenly. While I don't always like sacrificing my battle phase, I find that if I can hand trap my opponent and then evenly them, it's to that point where they have like little to no cards in hand at all. And like I'm so far ahead because all I gotta do is just make my Link Monster, make double Mechaba, and I'm so good to go. Like it's perfect, bro. Like it's really good. But there are times when you can just OTK. But if you can't OTK through their board, you know that it's still pretty solid. You're just going to have to evenly match them. Like, for real, you're going to have to. Like, if you have the impermanence first to beta negation and then evenly, just do that. But, yeah. So, you do have 6 more hand traps. I think it was 14, right? 14 hand traps, and then you add this, that's 20. So, pretty much half your deck is purely hand traps. Traps that you play from your hand, and your sisters, and your Veilers, and your Drolls. I do play 1 Omega Summon. While I don't think the card is always live that often, and it's not always that great, similar to the concept and theory on Book of Law, you want to maximize on every increment of value that you can get off of Alistair. And if Alistair can search this card, you might as well play it because you can capitalize on that extra value that he provides for you. At the same time, when you're using this Link Monster, because nothing is once per turn on him, you can actually fuse with your fusions, which I do sometimes just to make Elysium. And when you're fusing, you're banishing them from the field. So as you're setting up for Elysium, you're setting yourself up for your Omega summons. You can flip this, bring back a couple Mechabas in your main monster zone. It's game over. And you don't really need more than 1 of this either. Alright, that's the main deck. It should be 42 cards, I think. I think it's 42 cards or 41. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. I don't need to play exactly 40 to get a consistent deck. So for our extra deck, we do play 2 Alistair, the Invoker of Madness. I don't think that you actually need more than 2, especially because games just don't last that long anymore. I mean, Invoked is so great now. Like, literally all we needed was this Link Monster. That's it. We don't need Mech Knights, anything like that. Granted, yeah, you can play Mech Knights, but if I was to choose Mech Knights or Evenly, I would rather main deck the Evenly and, like, dry side into Mech Knights if it was really that important. But I find Evenly is way more of a blowout, way more of a detriment, a lot more competitive card than the Mech Knights are themselves. Because the way I have my build, my deck built, my invokes is I can make this card without the Meg Knights, and it's really good. Like this card is so broken that it actually brought invokes above one tier. Like they were a tier 3 deck. Now they're a tier 2 deck. Like invokes are tier 2. They were literally tier 3. They were dirt. They weren't that great. And it was because they didn't have a really solid good matchup against Trickstars. Had a horrible Trickstar matchup, had a horrible Sky Striker matchup. I mean, Widow Anchor was it. Like you could just it was just ridiculous. And then they had an absolutely horrible, terrifying Goki matchup. But because of this Link monster, everything changes. But I feel that if you're going to be playing going second Invoke, like I said, you see what I'm doing? Maximize on the good hand traps. Absolutely capitalize on them. This Link monster is amazing. One Firewall. I'm never summoning it. I'm actually using this for a Reaper Cherries target. I don't have a Kagari right now, or I would have a Kagari in here. But my Reaper Cherries targets would be Firewall, Kagari, Summon Sorceress, and the Thunder Dragon fusion when it comes out, whenever that's coming out. And then I already have Alistair as a target as well. I can make Borreload on a good day, so I do play it because it's really good. When you can make, if your deck can make Borreload, then play it. And you know, occasionally if you really feel like you have to, this is a Cherries target. This is a really good option for a Cherries target as well, although I wouldn't recommend it. It just depends what kind of deck you're playing, but I still like Unicorn because it provides that option to clear a card without, you know, actually destroying it, which is really good. This stuff has like graveyard effects, you know, just a lot of floaters. And then one Underclock. The only reason why I play the Underclock is for the interaction where you special Cyber Dragon and fuse off the extra monster zones for this. Normal Alistair, search your invocation, link with Alistair, and that into this. You can't summon this because they're both dark attribute. They have to be different types and attributes. But you summon this, then you play your instant fusion for your Raijin, then you link with Underclock Taker and Raijin, then you go into this. And you do all your little dirty plays after that. That's the only reason why I play Underclock Taker. I don't even use it for the OTKs. So yeah, that's the first fusion we play, is Mega Fleet. We play triple Mechaba. I pretty much, my whole deck is the reprints. I used to have a foreign invoked core. You guys watch my channel, then you know. I had a whole invoked core that was like all foreigned out and stuff, but I sold it at Nationals. But thank God I did, because I would have negged so hard. Like, I picked up this core for like $15, you guys. I got all my invoked cards back for like $15, and I sold it for $70 at Nat, so I kind of feel like I plus. Megaba's so easy to access now, it's ridiculous. One Cocytus. I still play one of every fusion except for the Earth, because I just find that there are situations where each one of these fusions is better than the other. And I find that when you're in that situation where you need the fusion, and it's like, oh, you don't play it, so now you just lose because you chose not to play it, that's kind of horrible. This deck doesn't really need a lot of links because you don't need scapegoats. We're not trying to give our opponent another turn. The scapegoat's counterintuitive to the playstyle that I have created for this deck. It's just solely go second in OTK. Go second in OTK. That's all we're doing. We just want to simplify the game state with hand traps, make our link, push for game. That's it. I like the Elysium because it's insane. It really helps me to be a lot more reactive, clears boards for me. I like Raijin because it can stop a turn for Gokis, especially if they don't open an extender. When they open extenders, they show you their extenders first. Extenders, not like the one-ofs or the Saki one-ofs, but I mean like Instant Fusion and stuff like that. They open with ways to make Invoker before they actually normal summon. They're going to show you that. They're going to show you their Junk Forward first, their Gillosaurus first. But the second that they make that Invoker, you just book a Moon with Raijin. Or the second that they normal summon Suprex, like that's the start of their turn, the first thing they do is normal Suprex, you just Raijin, book a Moon. 5 times out of 10, you're going to, you know, end up ending their turn. Unless they're like, oh, Headbat, I drew the one-off, Headbat, discard, special, go into a Soul Day. That's fine, because you're still able to, you know, hand trap them. But Raijin's really good. Cocytus is only really good against Sky Strikers and Spirals. Ironically, Spirals can't really get over this. Purgatrio steals games. It's the OTK maker. I chose this over Mechalangia because this gets bigger attack than it. It provides piercing and it can attack, you know, everything, I think. I think it says this can attack. Yeah, it does. It can attack all monsters. I knew I wasn't tripping. And then the Kaliga. It's really here for an instant fusion target, but on some like awkward, you know, setups where like you're going first and your board is not so optimal, You will make Kaliga because Kaliga says your opponent can only activate one monster effect and they can only attack once. So like for, I would say like an inexperienced player or even like a suboptimal decent player, most people don't really know what this card does. So they'll activate their first monster effects, which would be, you know, normal Super X, effective Super X, special, or they'll reveal some monster that special summons itself by its effect, and that's it. They can't do their combos. This is a combo stopper. Like every combo deck requires more than one monster effect. And if they try to go in the battle phase first to attack over this, you just discard your Alistair and make his defense 28, and they still have to pass. So it's really good, but it's only your like worst case scenario kind of card. And Mechaba is Mechaba, you know what I'm saying? Like you're pumping on the gates. That concludes the deck profile, you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Definitely let me know your honest opinion and feedback on what you think of my pure going second Invoke variant. I know that Sky Strikers exist. I know that, you know, Meg Knights exist. I understand that there are those ways to play this deck, but also please understand where I'm coming from. I don't really see any good pure Invoke variants. So I wanted to put this on YouTube just to give the general concept and idea that pure Invoked is still not a bad thing. It's not a bad idea. You know, it's not like you don't always have to play some random engine in it to make it good. Invoked has always been good on its own. But yeah, you guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Y'all be safe out there in them streets and don't do drugs. Peace out, y'all.